Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to you. I am Shahir bin Mohamad Nasir. I am from AC1105P and I'm gonna talk to you about Top Glove Corporation Berhad as for our 4340 group project assignment. Let's get started. Top Glove Corporation Berhad is founded by Tan Sri Dr. Lim Wee Chai, who is a Malaysian citizen. It is established in 1991 and the headquarters is located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. They only started with a factory and a glove production line and currently holding almost 26% of the world market shares for rubber gloves. They currently having about 47 factories around the world. Top Glove Corporation Berhad exports the products globally, which is up to 195 countries. They produce healthcare and non-healthcare segments, such as face masks, gloves, dental dams, and household products. The amount of workers is up to 21,000 employees around the world, which is 447 employees at one factory in average. Their vision is to become a Fortune Global 500 company by the year of 2035, which is 14 years from today. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Izamin, and I'm from AC1105P. Today, I'll be talking about the profitability ratios for Top Glove Corporation Berhad. So, profitability ratios is used to measure how effectively the company convert the assets to produce profit for the company. So, there are five types of profitability ratios, and this is the first one, gross profit margin. It is used to measure the gross profit earned for sales. So these are the formula, gross profit over sales. And the gross profit margin that I calculated from the Top Glove Corporation Berhad is 80%, while the industry average is 29.7%. This shows that the inefficiency of the company in controlling its cost of goods sold and pricing policy implemented. So they need to make sure that they cut off the additional or higher cost to pay its supplier or labor costs. So the next one is operating profit margin. The formula is earnings before interest and tax over sales. The operating profit margin that I calculated is 10.96%, while the industry average is 35.2%. So this indicates the lower operating profit margin compared to the industry average, which means that the company has an inferior performance as compared to the industry average. So they need to enhance their performance by increasing the selling price as well as the operating expenses. The next one is net profit margin. The formula is net income available to common stockholders over sales. The net profit margin for Top Glove Berhad is 7.7%, while the industry average is 15%. Uh, Lower net profit margin compared to the industry average, as you can see here. So it shows a bad performance because lower ratio means company will not be able to generate profit by converting the sales into actual profit. This may be caused by using the resources ineffectively. So the company must increase their selling price to get a higher net profit margin. Next one is return on asset, which is also known as return on investment. It is used to measure management's ability to make profit from the investment to asset. This is the formula. Uh, the return on asset that I calculated from Top Glove Berhad is 6.5%, while the industry average is 6.8%. So this difference between a company's return on asset and the industry average is 0.3, which means that the company almost keep up with the average return on asset of the other company of the same industry. Well, actually, this is not a good performance for the company because higher return on assets indicates that the company is more profitable and efficient. Last but not least, the return on equity. It indicates the profit earned by the common stakeholders from investments in the company. So these are the formulas, slightly different from return on assets. It's just it's over common equity. So the return on equity that I calculated is 14%, while the industry average is 5%. So our return on equity is much higher than the industry average, which means that the company has higher return on equity of other countries that are in the same industry. It indicates that the company need to maintain its income so that it would get higher than the industry average. So what Top Glove have to do is they need to maintain their asset turnover, profit margin, and their idle cash. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Shafiq Imran. I'm from AC 1105P, and today I will talk about liquidity ratios and leverage ratios for Top Glove Berhad. Okay, for liquidity ratios, it is an important class of financial metrics used to determine the ability of a debtor without raising external capital to pay off current debt obligation. Okay, there's two types of liquidity ratio, and the first one is current ratios. Okay, the formulas for current ratio is total current assets divided by total current liabilities. Okay, for Top Glove we got 1.12 times, and for the industry average it is 3.20 times. Okay, having a ratio of 1.12 times means that for every RM1 of current liabilities, the company has the amount of RM 1.12 current asset as backup compared with the industry average of 3.20 times. Okay, to maintain or improve this, Top Glove Berhad should increase their collections from trade or other receivables so that they can pay the current liabilities on time. Okay, for leverage ratios, it is measure the level of debt or borrowing in a firm and the ability for the company to pay its principal and interest charge. Okay, there's three types, and the first one is debt to asset ratio. For the formula is total debt divided by total asset. Okay, for Top Glove Corporation Berhad, we got 55%, and the industry average is 45%. Top Glove Corporation Berhad has poor performance because the higher the debt ratio, the bad the outcome will occur, since they will have trouble in raising additional borrowing such as loans. Top Glove Corporation Berhad must always issue new shares or stock. Okay, for the next one is debt to equity ratio. Okay, for the formula is total debt divided by total equity. For Top Glove Corporation Berhad, we got 123%, and for industry average we got 40.6%. The company's ratio is higher than the industry average by 82.4%. This means that Top Glove Corporation Berhad has poor performance because the high debt to equity ratio indicates a business use debt to finance its growth. Top Glove Corporation Berhad could take to reduce their debt to equity ratio is by increasing their sales and profits, and needs to increase the price and reduce certain costs. Okay, for the last one is time interest earned. The formula is EBIT divided by interest expense. For Top Glove Corporation Berhad, we got 5.32 times, and for industry average we got 42.81 times. The industry average has higher ratio than the firm, so that the firm has low ability to have insufficient earnings to fulfill its interest obligation. Top Glove Corporation Berhad needs to ensure that their time interest earned increasing higher than the industry average ratio by increasing their sales. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Aidiel Azhar. So today I'm going to explain about the common share ratio for the non-current asset and non-current liability. So under non-current asset, the company have investment in subsidiary. In 2019, the investment in subsidiary have 99.285% of the total asset. And in 2020, the investment in subsidiary only compute 50.7% of the total asset. So in terms of common share ratio, it showed that it will decrease by 48.585% from 2019 to 2020. The possible reason is because the company adopt the aggressive working capital policy. Alright, so due to COVID-19 pandemic, Top Glove company have to adopt aggressive working capital policy to produce intensive amount of glove to be used for the fireliners. Other than that, under non-current asset, we have the right use of asset. In 2019, the company have not acquired any right of use asset. So it'll be 0. And in 2020, the right of use asset only compute 0.016% of the total asset. So it showed the right of use asset has increased by 0.016% from 2019 to 2020. So the possible reason is because the company has acquired a new building under lease contract. Alright, so the company have acquired new building amounted 467,000 ringgit, and less it accumulated depreciation 33,000 ringgit. So we get 434,000 ringgit. Alright, next I will explain about the common size ratio for the non-current liability. Alright, so the top glove company only incurred the lease liability under the non-current liability. In 2019, the company did not incur any lease liability, so it will be 0. And in 2020, the company incurred this liability amounted 366,000 ringgit. Alright, I compute only 0.011% of the total liability and total equity. In terms of the common size ratio, it's shown that the lease liability has been increased by 0.011% from 2019 to 2020. The possible reason is because the company have incurred lease liability to acquire a building. Alright, so the amount that is recognized by the company is the amount that they are payable after the 12 months, which is 366,000 ringgit. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's me again, Shahir bin Mohamad Nasir. I am from AC1105P, and this time I'm gonna talk about conclusion. In liquidity ratios, Top Glove Corporation Berhad performs poorly in overall. In current ratio, this company only recorded 1.12 times of their ability to pay short-term obligation within 1 year. It is lower compared to industry average, which is at 3.2 times. Meanwhile, in acid test ratio, they only recorded 0.72 times compared to industry average of 2.03 times. Here shows us that the company might have difficulty in paying their current liabilities when needs arise without liquidating its inventories. As for leverage ratios, Top Glove Corporation Berhad has underperformed in these ratios as their debt ratios and time interest earned are very low compared to industry average. As for profitability ratios, Top Glove Corporation Berhad gross profit margin is 18%, while the industry average ratio is 29.7%. It reflects to us that the company has poor earning potential from their sales. Other than that, their operating profit margin is recorded at 10.96% compared to 35.2% of industry average. It indicates that the company has an inferior performance as compared to industry average. As for return on equity, Top Glove recorded at 14% higher than industry average of 5%. It is a good number as the company has higher return on equity, leaving others behind at 9% in the same industry. As for common size ratios, this company shows many increases in their statement of financial position. This is due to the higher demand during pandemic for the products such as gloves, personal protective equipment, latex shoes from the local hospitals to be used for the nurses and the doctors. They need to maintain this performance to ensure their company will generate more profit and avoid bankruptcy. Thank you. I hope you enjoy my presentation.